Are you ready? I sure am. Beware of Coco and Clarko 3. This is again GSCPL Week 4. Let us begin. Eggy and Lax could be a... Oh, okay. I was not able to pause in time. So that rules out the possibility of Thief Eggy. It's also... It very well, could be Sunspore, but I would say it is most likely standard stuff, like Sleep Powder. And of course it switches out of Snorlax, knowing Snorlax could just sleep talk. So we see Rhydon as the Lax check, and we find Zapdos coming in to absorb a potential sleep. So indicating this Zap is in fact not a, this Lax is not a sleep talker. Raikou comes in, this is Raikou, and, Raikou, easily accounts for the failings of Rhydon to check the electrics. Well, that is until you get Thunder Crit Para, but like, you know, pretty much anything can get Thunder Crit Para. Alright, the Sleep Powder. No, it's Stun Spore. That makes a lot of sense when Rhydon is revealed, because Rhydon really likes the Para support. HP on the Raikou. This could be a Hera team. Whenever I see Eggy and Raikou together, it just, the alarm bell of potentially a Heracross pops up. Rock Slides the Raikou. That could have been, significantly more scary for the Coup. Should have been Earthquake, and it did actually have Earthquake. It just did not go for it. Did not elect to Quake the Coup. But a Giga Drain crit on the Zapdos, not doing very much. Coup, yet again, staving off the Zapdos. I'd like to mention we have not seen spikes from either player yet. And Raikou just rests. Lax is gonna get a click a move here. No, it's going to double the Cloyster on the Rhydon. Rhydon just stays in, knowing Cloyster will spike. Rock Slides it. Is he gonna get out of here though? Goes to his own Cloyster to establish his spikes and finds himself toxic. Clarko 3 knowing that Rhydon's not gonna stay in there to get blown away by Surf. Alright, Zap on the toxic Cloyster. Clark's Cloyster is not toxic, meaning it can it better staves off Rhydon, but it can't do that for too much longer. Rhydon does look very scary on paper, as it always does. Quake Slide off of Stab is inherently good until you drop 2 HP water from full. You win some, you lose some. Rhydon. Alright, the Para comes in, doubling to Raikou, knowing that the threat of Sunspore can scare the Zap out, but the Zap accepts that it might get Sunspore to go for Chip on the Eggy. Lix comes in, Raikou Sleep Talks the HP Ice into it. And the Egg comes out. The Lax comes out. It is very unlikely this has a Sleep Powder. Usually the set is Psychic Double Powder Boom. But Rhydon coming in once again to check this Lax. This Lax very well could be Mono Lax, and Rhydon does an exceptional job of checking that. Cloyster coming in, loves dodging the Rock Slide. Now it can switch in a couple more times. Gets a Toxic, maybe trying to land on the Eggy, who could easily absorb a Surf. The Kanga shows up. This is... I think Clarko 3, was he the one that brought this team earlier? I know that we've seen this team before, and maybe it was Clark that brought it, because I remember distinctly seeing a team that I'm like, surely this has an answer to this. This is a Mon, as the last Mon, that doesn't insta-die to Machamp. Because Cross Chop Go Brrrr. But I don't know that Coco has a Machamp here. Doesn't feel right. So Kanga here is kind of nice, but like Kanga really thrives in the stall no ghost mirror, in the stall no ghost matchup. That's where I'd say it's probably best. Switches out of the Coup, not wanting to take a potential Thunder. The egg comes into the licks, gets roared out, finds the Raikou. That is probably the best thing you could be roaring in right now. Could just go for an EQ, could go for a roar. That's a Dragonite. This team loves spreading the para. All the para. Oh, I know what this team is. I saw this team in the Discord server. I know the sets. They made some kind of mention about... Actually, I won't spoil that if that is the case. I think they talked about 2 variants of this team. This is just going to be T-Wave, Dragonite, like the mixed set, and the last is Lax, and it kind of like really goes hard into Rhydon. I remember looking at this team, and it did not appeal to my sensibilities. If I recall correctly, this is a Clamp Cloy. There's a chance of it being Clamp Cloy, but it didn't have Screech. It was a Screechless Clamp Cloy. Yes! Aiming to clamp on a Lax that doesn't have Curse. Normally you go all into the Clamp idea, but this is one of the reasons why Clamp doesn't usually work out, is because Zapdos can just come in. That Thunder Para could be relevant should Clark push for the luck here. Elects to go to the Tar on the rest. Could pursue the Raikou on its way out, or just launch a Rock Slider and EQ. Or Para. Most likely it was EQ there. Or it could have been Rock Slide to hit a Cloy or the Dragonite. Very well could have been Rock Slide. Doubles in, takes the Stun Spore, does not want to get Giga Drained here. I believe it's into a KO range. Zap pivots in. Giga Drains are getting low. The Tar shows up again. Finally lands itself back with the Raikou. These scorned lovers. Well, the Raikou doesn't like this relationship very much, but the laxity... Like joint laxity? Oh, no. These are all just like city jokes. I think. Roars into the laxity, like joint laxity, you know. That synovial fluid in the bursa really helping out here. EQ on Zap, not what you want to see. It is EQ Lax, Thunder Para, and Body Slam. Body Slam makes sense because this team is obsessed with the paralysis. Is fallen in love with Para. And the rest, we haven't seen any kills yet, which is interesting. Kanga looks mediocre here. Rhydon, mediocre until the Rhydon goes down. This Rhydon is fishing, but it doesn't find it. It's just double-edged. This Lax is now in danger, barely. Yeah, I think it's barely in range of EQ. But it just goes for a Rock Slide again, hits the Cloy. Surf on the Zapdos. This Cloy is getting worn down quickly. The Lax will really appreciate. The Kanga really appreciate that. The Steelix goes die. Clark went down to 10 seconds on their timer there. Raikou, no double. A potential double Lax and try and rest up there was a play that existed. Tar comes in on the coup again. It really loves dodging that Thunder. Gets pursued, takes a chunk. Zap is rather scary. Well, the rest Lax does mitigate that terror. Gets itself para'd. Rhydon now can flip the script to get rip the... You understand, don't you? Ooh, missing on a potential rest or HP ice there. Does not boom. Presses for another para. But that paralysis condition is gone. It's been wiped. Sleep talks the rest. We see a psychic here. Yes, we do. Ae does not always kill Zap from full with boom, just so you know. That's why Pink Bow is often. That's one of the reasons why Pink Bow is used. And now he can go for the boom. He really wants that Zapdos gone so he can freely EQ. And Tar here is a blunder because you just lost the you lost the matchup. Of course, you go like, I think you have to go Cloy there. I think Cloy is the best option. It sucks if he goes Dragonite or his own Cloy, but like letting Rhydon in here is really big, and now it kind of just slams your team. But Tar lives on 3 and is able to chip down this Rhydon very significantly. Cloy comes in to scare it out. Do we see just a Boom here? I think Boom is not unreasonable. Oh, but it goes for the Surf and doesn't Boom in, which is fine because it's not poisoned, so it can come out and come back in. But dodges a Thunder to Boom. I thought Boom, right, on the Rhydon switch out turn was fine. I guess well, no, it's if he. I don't like Dragonite here. I don't love it. But I also don't dislike it because it doesn't do a ton against Lax and Kanga, so it's fine if you sack Dragonite here. Surf is best against the opposing Cloy, but it makes sense that he'd want to preserve the opposing Cloy, his opposing Cloy, Koko's Cloy, so he could boom it. So I do not think that Thunder miss had to be something that Clark played for, but it's very possible that a Lastmon Kanga or a Lastmon Lax could pull it out now. Yep, going for the Lastmon Kanga. Oh, but does not catch the Boom predict. Kanga's gonna need to... Does Kanga live Boom now? I don't think it does. Maybe it does. I don't know my Kanga calcs. It doesn't. Clark loses to the Koko. Alright. Next up, we have Society versus a real Jester. Cloy on Cloy, Spike. We could see Toxic Trades, we could see HP Electrics. Miracle Berry is not particularly surprising. Both could be Miracle Berry, as we see on the Man Cave, which makes a lot of sense. Cloy lead is these days very, very often Miracle Berry to potentially boom on a Jinx for incredibly Jinx weak teams. Ooh, I like that nickname. The Moltres Coup stuff coming in here. This looks like a Moltres on a standard-ish team. Moltres Coup makes a lot of sense. Coup doesn't really benefit as much as Zapdos does from Thunder, so running Thunderbolt on Coup is a lot more justifiable, or it feels easier. Of course, in a Sunny team, you don't want to be clicking Thunders, and Q helps shore up an electric weakness inherent to Moltres, because sure, 50% Thunders, but that's also like, well, you get hit with that. Oh, it's Flamethrower Moltres, okay. Jester just rests immediately. Is it Sleep Talk Lax? Fire Blast is often what Moltres is most known for, but we've been seeing a lot more Flamethrower recently. Just because people hate missing those Sunny Fire Blasts. It's depressing. It really is. And sometimes you can kind of fail to close out some stuff because you just kind of run out of PP. You Fire Blast. Like, it's nice to have the higher PP. Golem stays into RAWR, taking a massive amount. This is just a triple thief variant, it looks like. The Raikou gets Theft, Theftida. Slax comes in. Moltres looks like a monster in this matchup. Like, I don't know if you can ask for a better Molt matchup. Like, oh my goodness. If it's Thundergar, ugh. Or even better, it's Ice Punch, Dynamic Punch. Thief. And then Destiny Bond, because you can play around Destiny Bond better than Boom. But this is not a team that likes looking at a Moltres on the opposing team. Imagine if he brings Sunny Day Spam here. I mean, Sunny Day Spam kind of murks this if you can break the Lax. But not having Fire Blast is going to make the Molt breaking the Lax much harder. The Man Cave is not toxic, but does not have lefties, crucially. So, It's getting worn down very quickly. This team just ignores lefties. There's 2 Mons that have lefties. Cloister lives the opposing boom, but doesn't have lefties to heal up enough. Switches out, keeping the sack, or also Golem can just spin later. That T-Bolt para. We see Nidoking on the rest. We do. Chloe gets sacked. End turn. Me. Star me, huh? Nightmare Star me. That's my guess on this. That is brutal. That is horrendously bad for a Real Jester. Real Jester goes to Lax, not wanting to push it. Oh, this is so bad for Jester. Yeah, not wanting to push their Thunder Luck. Or not wanting to get surfed. Because you can just EQ the Starmie sub. But I think that might have been a blunder because you are now in a horrible position with this Lax. Okay, Sleep Talking Rest there would have been really bad. Starmie can just sub or surf here. Believe it barely lives the double edge. Nope, okay, it doesn't. That's a pretty bad scenario to be in because Flamethrower doesn't kill, does it? I don't think it kills. I really don't. So it's looking a lot closer than it should be based on the matchup because Society got a really, really good one. But Real Jester's playing quite well. Golem looks like it's pretty scary. Okay, so I said Real Jester's playing well. I also meant Double Edge has the ability to crit. Just so you know. Garbooms. That might have been a Monolax. I don't think it is, though. I think it's probably Rest. With Moltres being, yep, trying to absorb sleep. It misses. You just Flamethrower here. Yes. Gets murked. The Lax comes in. You probably just Sunny D on this thing. Get that orange juice in here. Curse is an option. You prefer Rest there. Does it secretly have Fire Blast? No. Okay, it's going for the 3 kill. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay, well, it goes for the rest, so you give it the chance, but it's unlikely. He needs to roll Curse here. You want to see a Curse rolled. You don't want to see that rolled. You're done, Society. That's game for you. I believe so. Unless this Cursed Lax can pull a miracle. Goes to Zapdos. Hold on. Hold on, what? Don't you just press it with your Lax? Yeah, because you just send your Lax back in. Like, if your Lax dies, then you can go to Zapdos. And then have your Nidoking finish off. Just double edges. Sorry, that felt really messy. Because you're at +1, so you're not taking too much from double edge. You just Sleep Talk there. If you roll anything, it's good. And then if they're forced to curse or double edge you, or like Rest is not going to get you anywhere. So if they curse, they're just giving, like, I guess there's a scenario where they curse, you Sleep Talk Rest, they curse again, you Sleep Talk Rest, and then suddenly they're advantaged. Is that better than having to take Thunder and then not having it not rest there? Huh. That in-game felt messy. And also the non-Fire Blast Moltres showing why it really likes having that Charcoal Fire Blast. This is far too contemplative of music. Ready? Set. Zoom time. Black Stop. Double Edge. literally can't say anything about their teams now other than it's probably offense from Pure Persona. Spikes on Starmie. Do we see just Toxic here? No, goes to Lax. Ooh, Psychic Crit would have just melted that Cloyster. Spin takes a double edge for their trouble. That's something you could try and recover off if you really feel like it. Or you can just go to your Fori, establish spikes. This could be a Flame Lax, but I think it's more likely to be Q or Rest. Just going to keep clicking those curses. I mean, EQ, Rest Talk. Toxic to prevent it from cursing up indefinitely. We've seen a lot of Foris get crit this week by Double Edge specifically. Fori really doesn't enjoy. Oh, we've seen a lot of Toxic Protect Foris get crit with Double Edge this week. Yep, this is a stall team because we see Starmie, Fori, Skarmie. Or just Starmie, Fori is enough to tell you it's a stall. Just gonna curse up on the most likely Mono Lax or EQ. Switches out. Drill Peck's a Zapdos for a negligible 24% to take a Thunder with his Raikou that doesn't para, which is good for Cure. Alright, the Lax comes in. HP. This is looking like a standardish stall and a standardish offense, which I like to see. Because then it just really comes into how good the players are. Skarmory curses up. Double Edges are flying. We're already 4 down. I'm going to speed this up to fast. Drill Peck on the Zapdos. Ku takes the HP. The last here could be a Tyranitar. Or like maybe a Missy. I think you want, yeah, could be either. Ice Beam. This Nidoking is a Thief, not a Thief King. It's not a Thief King. Sorry, I was too busy looking at Vanny's team. So most likely has Lovely Kiss. Ice Punches the Tar. Yep, that makes sense that it's there. Could be a Dynamic Punch. No, it's Hypnogar. Well, Tar got slept. Whoopie-doo. Oh, you're staying into Ice Punch, maybe predicting a switch. You just switch out to King, right? Yeah. Tar did not click Pursuit that turn, just so you know. I think that Tar has EQ. If you switch out on a Pursuit, it's called Mento Damage while Tar's asleep because it'll play the Pursuit message. But because he's not clicking Crunch, well, it could be Crunch, but I think it's EQ Tar. It's a Surf Lax. Is this going to be Surf, Double Edge, Thunder? Please, no. Alright, this is a potential entry for the King or Lax, but no, Zapdos is gonna fire away those Thunders. Raikou is taking them like a champ, but the champs have to get rest eventually. It just depends on how far they're willing to push it. Lax double edges into the Fori. Gar would have blanked the Toxic anyways. Doubles out a Cloyster, potentially on a Tar. But Fori just switches. Protects now switches. Fori is racking up some health. Me comes in. Starmie doesn't. Lax comes into me. Chloe not wanting to take a Psychic. There are no spikes up on Vanny's side. Double Edge is looking scary. Oh, Double Edge is looking really scary. You're out of range barely. But Double Edge from on Vanny's end is also scary. So yeah, if you're really risking it, if you're feeling feisty, here you can really press for that damage on the opposing Lax, who's probably gonna rest as protecting you, like rest as you rest. Now this Lax has to get out of here and you get a rest. Yeah. Very well executed from Cure Persona. And you can just burn turns here. This Skarmory is probably Sleep Talk, so it has not shown an ability to phase. So this could be Phaserless Stall, or the Tyranitar most likely has Roar. That crit is almost relevant. This Zapdos has been beating on this Raikou. We see, instead of a traditional normal resist or a Jinx, We see a Jolteon. I was begging for Jolteons. I just did not expect them to come here. Jolteon's really good here. Oh my goodness. Nidoking with a +1 special attack here. Looks nasty. Gengar with a +1 special attack here. Looks feisty. Zapdos with a +3 special attack. Could just win. Also Roarku, by the way. Which really sucks for the Jolteon. Like, absolutely sucks for the Jolteon. Yeah, Espeon is probably the only growth passer that can beat Ku, like Roarku. I have not seen a Sleep Talker on Vanny's end, which is interesting. So it's gonna be the Skarmory. We've already established it doesn't have Whirlwind, so it's gotta be Sleep Talk Skarm, which is allowing you to run this Lax set and this bad Ku set. The Roarku is bad, in my opinion. Yay. Hoity-toity opinions here. Ice punching the Tar, just gonna beat it down. Yeah, rest Tar, okay. Yeah, so it's probably not a Roar Tar unless it's Rest Roar Curse Rock Slide. That set can really put in work in some games, or it can face a Nidoking. Bonus points if you play a Roar Nidoking. It's Flamethrower King, let's freaking go. Oh, that's hype. It also means that Starmie's way more annoying for you because you can't thunder it. But hey, what can you do? Flamethrower edges out cheeky kills on Fories all the time. HP Ice. I've been mostly reduced to commentating the present. How about we commentate about the future? Vanny very well doesn't actually have a ton of offensive progress made. They have spikes on the opposing side, and the opposing side will not be able to remove them. They still have their own removal. But not a whole lot of progress is being made. Gar booming on Raikou means that Zapdos is actually insane. Like, if Gar could ever do that, Zapdos at +1 or Jolteon +1 goes nuts. But it's a Roarku, so if you can keep forcing it, and if you can make that Roarku rest... Oh, Starmie gets killed. Are we looking at more of a Gengar or a Nidoking path to victory? Nidoking does look very frightening now. But yeah, this Roarku being forced to rest means, like, whenever it's forced to rest means that special attackers look very scary. Jolteon might be able to get a pass off. This Lax is not really doing much this game. Gar comes in, takes a cool 22. It does have Hypnosis Pressure, which is better than Boom here. Which is scarier than Boom here because it's free. It's just free into Ku switches. And if you land it, that could be a potential 6 turns of no Ku. It's Roar Nidoking! No way! No way! That makes sense. Actually, what am I thinking? Yeah, no. It's total that Roar Nidoking makes total sense here because you need a phaser. How am I neglecting this? Oh, my commentary is crumbling before me. Yeah, so Hypnogar takes a sleep position, and you don't have a phaser, and you need one. Even on these Laxes, these teams beat down Laxes. Usually like special offense teams. Usually by thiefing the Lax and then hitting it with a bunch of moves, and then they Whirlwind it out with Zapdos, but because you don't have a Zapdos with Whirlwind, you need a Roar somewhere, like Roar Nidoking. That makes a lot of sense. I really hope it's Mono Rocktar into a Roar Nidoking, because that's just hilariously unfortunate. I mean, there are spikes up, so it's not, and the Nidoking's low, so it's not too bad. Yo! Did I call it? Is it Mono Rock? Does he curse up again or roar here? Oh, okay. Goes for Rock Slides. Flinch here. Okay, well, Sorry, Cure Persona. Switch into this, my boy. And you don't is the answer. Now, then, even though this new king is RAWR, it's kind of scary. And the fact that if it EQs on your RAWR, trying to block its RAWR, you just take a ton of free damage. You can't really hurt it. So switching out here is very reasonable. Rests up. This Lax actually looks very problematic, unless you can bust through it. This Gengar booming on the Lax would be very scary. Cure Persona has been very disciplined with their Gar so far. Hypnos the Tar, no fear at all. She stays in to wail on it with Thunders, hitting all their Thunders. All their Thunders. This Tar's in range of another one. Coup, another Thunder hit. They're at 9, and it's a para! That's absolutely massive. Goes to the Jolteon. Takes the hidden power rather poorly. For as far as Jolteon, Jolteon's existence is rather poor as a special tank. But it does just enough to do it good. Oh, that crit EQ is valuable. Having no spikes here really sucks. Like, really sucks with a RAWR Nidoking. You want to be able to roar out Lax that comes in a lot. Ice Punch on the coup. Ice Punch on the coup. Takes a T-Bolt. Does Vanny try and predict a boom here? No, and it launches and lands on the coup. Do we see a Jolteon? No, we see the Zapdos immediately missing Thunder on the Lax. Who rests? Jolteon here is low enough that it can't tank from Lax, so it makes sense that he went straight to Zap. But I don't think Zap wins this. Making up for those Thunder hits earlier, Zap doesn't really do so hot here. You need it to have plus special attack and have Thunders remaining. Emphasis on having Thunders remaining, so it does not... Ooh, goes for the rest here. Do you RAWR here, or do you EQ? You EQ, okay. Yeah, because roaring doesn't get you anywhere because there's no spikes. And it gives you potential to get killed early. Yep, fishing for the no double edge. Gets it. You probably pass here. I think they were doing calcs this turn. They went to 25 seconds. It's less... It's not unreasonable for Zap to... I think you've hidden power here on the rest. Yeah. Because you don't want to burn too many Thunders. It's not unreasonable for a Zap to break through at just +1. It needs to hit all their Thunders, though. So I believe you just hidden power here now. Here, Persona's playing it very well. Yep, hidden power, gets a crit, that's fine. Lax should be forced to rest right now, and you should not Thunder here. Now you can Thunder. Okay, now you hidden power. We've seen this cycle. We've seen another hidden power crit. Forced to rest. You have 4 Thunders. You need to hit your Thunders. 1. No Sleep Talk rest. Oh, Lax chooses to not to Sleep Talk. I think Sleep Talking there was optimal. Even though you have so few. But it does get a Sleep Talk rest. Zapdos needs to hit the next 2 Thunders in a row. It does not get that opportunity. Sleep Talk does not roll the correct move. Yep, rests, hoping for Sleep Talk to fish up Thunders. Lax has 1 Sleep Talk remaining. HP's popping out. Waiting to see if they can get a Thunder Snipe. No, they're going for the Jolteon route. This could be very risky. But Lax does not elect to use their 1 Sleep Talk. Goes back into Zap. So essentially just some free PP on the Lax burned. Rest, but the Lax can also rest here too. But it goes for the double edge. These double edges are mighty in power points. Cure Persona is not favored to win this. They need some cooperative sleep rolls, and they're getting some. It should you hope it's always rest or Thunder here. But even if it Sleep Talks rest every time, now it needs to just be rest or Thunder crit. HP. Jolteon comes in. Thunder, no crit. Jolteon dies. The Cure Persona has been defeated. The Surf Double Edge Lax took over once Gengar died. Cure Persona had a non-negligible chance to win that, of course, if the Thunders hit. If the +1 Thunders hit, then the Lax can die. If the +1 Thunders do not hit, the Lax lives. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Well, that's probably, what, an hour? Oh, nowhere near. 35 minutes. Well, there you go. That's 3 more games of Week 4. There's only 2 left.